Could you briefly introduce yourself? Who are you? What did you study and what's your work right now?
Yeah, so my name is Leo Dorst. I studied applied physics in Delft University and got a PhD in image processing type applications. That was in 1986. I worked in Philips Laboratories in New York, robot path planning. And since then I've worked at the University of Amsterdam, and I now am forcibly retired because I'm older than 67, so then you have to stop.
So you did teach. Did you enjoy that?
Yes, I was, teaching always gives me a buzz, yeah. And, but I didn't actually teach geometric algebra, I taught linear algebra and computer vision.
And how did you get into geometric algebra?
I was investigating a puzzle that was related to robot path planning, that is to compute what states the robot had to avoid not to bump into things. And that was something that's called mathematical morphology. I needed operations that would help me solve that. I went from math book to math book because the problem was central, but it needed different pieces of math. And I came to a conference in which there was one guy, David Hessenes, who in half an hour gave a presentation that contained all these maths that I jumped through. That was called geometric algebra in 1997. It's the first time I heard of it, and I was immediately sold. And yeah, I've been doing that for the rest of my life, and it's not over yet.
And what brings you to Belgium to talk about geometric algebra?
So Steven is actually my PhD student. Or let's say I am also his student because we learn from each other. I got together with him about 5 years ago. He was very good at the programming of geometric algebra, and the thing that I just talked about the dynamics, is something we figured out together. Yeah, he's organizing these things, and he asked me to come talk, so that's what I did.
And how do you explain geometric algebra to someone who doesn't really understand geometric algebra?
Depends on where you come from. You know, if you, it is a very nice language to talk about geometry in a quantitative way, and once you have that, you see geometry everywhere, and you can use it everywhere. So it's now also being used in machine learning, and of course robotics, computer vision. It's just something we wish we had had a long time ago, but the person who invented it died when he was 33 years old in 1870. And so we're going to have to catch up.
Okay, and what gives you energy to keep researching in the geometric algebra?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah, simply beautiful.
And do you have other interests? I read on your site you are interested in Legos too, or?
Yeah, well, that is a little bit old because Lego has become much worse. In the time that I was doing Lego, I stopped doing Lego after I got geometric algebra because it did the same thing for my brain. You have a limited set of parts and you try to make something that really works in the real world as elegantly as possible. You know, and since then, Lego has added all sorts of special parts, and it's much less interesting now. It's much less of a challenge to use a limited vocabulary to express everything. And so I keep doing geometric algebra because that has that feature. It has a purity.
Okay, and what do people need to remember from your lecture today?
That's the classical way in which we have done mechanics, so how things move, you know, which you use in robotics and just anything. Can be done much more simple and much more effectively if you cast it into geometric algebra. And the translation is absolutely direct. There's one table in the talk that shows how you do it. So there's no reason not to do it. And so we hope to convince people that they should go this way. And it's beginning to work.
Okay, and I'm going to thank you for this human interest part.
Okay, glad you think I'm human.